The prologue for the In Memoriam video that follows provides context to those unfamiliar with Studio One and the Studio One Backlot. The Studio One Backlot was a cabaret showroom in West Hollywood, California from 1975 to 1994. I worked there for a while and recently looked through my archive of materials that I had saved over the years. Here's a little history about how the Backlot came to be, the performers who stood on the stage, and the audiences that attended the shows. But first, let's look into the fascinating history of the building itself. In 1929, the Mitchell Camera Corporation built their new camera factory in West Hollywood, California. They were responsible for building many of the 35mm motion picture cameras that were in use in Hollywood from the 1920s on. In fact, they built the cameras in the late 30s that shot The Wizard of Oz, among many other films. After Mitchell moved to new facilities in Glendale in the mid-40s, the building was used for several different businesses over the years, including an exterior for a 1966 Mission Impossible episode. In 1967, a group of celebrity investors came together to open The Factory, a swanky new exclusive membership hotspot. It was the first business to use the former camera factory as a full-fledged nightclub. The factory eventually opened to the public and lasted until 1971. In 1974, Scott Forbes, an optometrist from Boston, and his business partners leased and remodeled the property and opened Studio One for the gay community. At the rear of the building, and past the dance floor, was a room called the Backlot, which was a getaway place from the craziness of the disco. In 1975, that room officially opened as the Studio One Backlot, with Broadway star Chita Rivera performing on a brand new stage with theatrical lights and sound. This made the Backlot a bona fide performance venue for years to come. The Backlot showcased many famous performers from the past and present, and was also occasionally used as a location for both television shows and movies. I began working at the Backlot in 1978. I did the lighting, sound, and was tech director for the room for about 5 years, and then worked on and off there until 1988. To this day, I tell people that working there was like going to a type of theater college. I learned something new just about every week from some of the best in the business. The Studio One Backlot, as well as Studio One, closed in 1994. It became several other different nightclubs over the following years. The building itself had history. For the camera factory it housed, its opening as the Factory nightclub in 1967, and its LGBTQ significance later. The performers, the audiences, along with the celebrities that came to see the shows. And while not the most attractive building in the world, it had its charm. Around 2019, the property, as well as the old factory building, was going to be redeveloped, and after some discussions about demolishing the factory building, the developer decided to go ahead with plans to build Robertson Lane, which included a hotel, a paseo with shops and dining venues, and would include the old factory building. However, their plan was to have the building disassembled and stored until it was time to reconstruct the building along Robertson Boulevard in a north-south direction. In order to do that, the city of West Hollywood had to approve, and with many people wanting the building to be rebuilt, including myself, they finally approved the plan. The building was then scheduled for the deconstruction in early 2020. It was decided to have one last go-around in the space that had been Studio One and the Studio One Backlot. On the evening of November 9, 2019, hundreds of people showed up on Robertson Boulevard in West Hollywood, waiting to climb up the stairs and enter the room for the last time. The former Backlot was at the time basically an upscale pole dancer club, and not at all like it had looked in the past. The promoters of the Studio One event built a stage in the same spot as the old Backlot stage. Performers were booked and the cameras were ready. The occasion was also being recorded for a future documentary called Studio One Forever. Also on the schedule was a short in memoriam segment that I had produced to honor the performers, the customers, and employees from the Studio One Backlot who had passed away. Over the course of several months beginning in the early part of 2020, the building was carefully dismantled, beam by beam, wooden floor block by block. All that was left was a foundation. And that's how the property still sits today, as of this video footage 6 years later. In December of 2025, it was revealed that the original Robertson Lane project had been canceled, and that the developer had another plan called Robertson Row and Development, which also includes the old Studio One factory building. Hopefully the project will move forward. Another reason I had for making this prologue to the In Memoriam video was to make those that care aware, and that someday we will see this designated historical building rebuilt. On October 10, 2025, there was a screening of the documentary Studio One Forever held in the chambers of the West Hollywood City Council. In attendance were former patrons, the general public, and a few city council members. Also in attendance was the production staff and contributors of the documentary Studio One Forever. I also attended and brought an updated version of the In Memoriam segment that I had produced 6 years earlier to show after the screening. I had added the names of the celebrities who had passed since 2019. One of the most notable, Chita Rivera, who had been the very first performer to stand on the Studio One Backlot stage.